Everybody, this is my condo in Manila. This is Dettifoss Tower of Acqua Residences, and in today's episode of the Coding Travelbug, I'm going to give you 5 things that I typically look for when I'm renting a condo. Number 1, aircon. If you're from a country like the States or Canada, aircon may not seem like a big thing, but it is in Southeast Asia because it's hot for most of the year. That kind of aircon is a 2-part aircon. It's got a compressor outside. They're relatively quiet and they work well. They're usually made by Japan or Korea, something like that. But in the Philippines, they often have these in-wall units that are actually quite normal, I think, in the United States. But here they are really loud, and especially the older ones. It might not bother you. You might need to wear earplugs, but it's something that I do look out for. Number 2, appliances. This one has a hot water thing and a coffee maker. It's also got a rice cooker, which I don't use, but for locals, they absolutely would need that. It's got a microwave and a TV. If you are traveling and you like watching TV, you saw in my other video, I brought a TV stick. And the TV stick just plugs in the back. You can see the little thing dangling down there. And I use Sky TV, which is an Android TV app. I can watch literally anything. I've never not been able to find something I want to watch. But for that, you need a smart TV. So if you're talking with an agent, you want to check that it's a smart TV, which usually means if it's got a USB and HDMI inputs in the back, it's probably smart enough to use something like a TV stick. At the very least, you want to make sure it has Netflix or YouTube on it. I don't watch tons of TV because I'm out working a lot. But if you do like to relax at night over TV and a movie, local TV in most countries is not really that great. Particularly if you're used to like American and Canadian, European programming, most of the TV here for locals, it's very news-based. It's unlikely you'll like it. So check that out. Number 3 is the view. And I don't mean a beautiful view, even though this is a beautiful view. What I mean is an unobstructed view. So when you're renting, make sure that the condo agent sends you a photo of what it looks like outside that window or whatever windows you have. The reason being that many of the newer condo complexes, like the one I lived at last year in McKinley, literally I was looking right out into someone else's room. Like it was just across the pool. It means you have no privacy at all. So it's definitely worth finding out if you can get a little bit higher room and something that has an unobstructed view. Doesn't matter what the view is. Just as long as you're not having someone peer in your bedroom and you have to peer into theirs, that is not comfortable. Number 4, again, this is personal preference, is a walk-in shower, right? You can just walk inside and shower. The Philippines tends to have a lot of older rentals as well. They're not all new condos. And a lot of those have bathtubs. So you kind of got to step in the bathtub. It's really clunky. They're not designed for overhead showers, things like that. Worth checking out if it's going to be a pain point for you. Also for older people, it's just easier using a walk-in shower. Last but not least, number 5 is the size of the unit. So I'm here for 2 months. This is 33 square meters. It feels very open because it's all, there's a big window, it's all painted white. There's this big mirror here, which does amazing things for just making it feel much larger. But I'm just by myself, and I got a comment on my first video came out, a week ago or something. And a guy commented on there, TY Freeborn, thank you for the comment. It's something that he can't just do because he has a wife and kids. And even though his kids are grown up, they have grandkids, they're very integrated with their family. So for him and his wife to just leave that would be incredibly difficult, arguably impossible. Sometimes you're just going to decide to stay where you are and really not take a chance of seeing what it's like to live abroad, which is cool. But that was a great comment because, I've never been married. I'm not saying I've dodged a bullet or nothing, right? Even though I say that sometimes. It just hasn't happened for me. Living in Japan most of my life, I just never really felt I wanted to get married there or something. And then you get older, it's like, I'm already here, so what the heck? I get to keep all my paycheck. I don't have to put kids through school. So you start getting selfish as you get older. Anyway, my perspective, and I realize that for the last few videos, I'm talking from the point of view of basically single people who can do what they want. But for families, if you're in a condo that's 33 square meters, this is probably gonna not work, right? This is really small. So the price things that I've mentioned, or I might talk about this some more, won't really apply to you. You're gonna need a bigger place. There's a guy who is at the co-working station that I go to, Daniel, really nice guy, British guy. He's here with his kids, so I should probably interview him and get his perspective of, you know, the difficulties of living abroad as a family and things like that. But certainly the size of your condo matters. 33 square meters is fine, especially this is a very new, clean place. Philippines has a bit of a cockroach issue. That's one of those things you might have to put up with when you're here. When I stayed at the Jazz last year for like a month, holy hell, it was like cockroach motel. So having a new place is nice, but most of these new places now, they are like 27 square meters. That's tiny. And when you first move in, it'll have everything you need. It feels nice because it's nice and clean. But as soon as you start living in it, and you know, my table here's got gear on it, I've got my computer sitting over there, it starts to feel more cluttered and full. So it's kind of worth finding a bit bigger place. And one way you can do that is stay at an older condo. So you might have to put up with a few more cockroaches and smells or something, because the Philippines is not super great about this stuff. Like they haven't figured it out quite as well as say Thailand has, but it could be worth it. Having a nice big place is great. I watched a video today from a guy who's living up in Angeles. Angeles is like the party city. It's like the Pattaya of the Philippines. But Angeles is cheap. You know, he had a big house. Well, not a house. He's got basically a loft room inside of a townhouse, in a townhouse. And he's paying 18,000 pesos a month. That is less than half of what I pay. And his place is much bigger. It's like, feels like living in a house. So you can choose to live away and you can get more space, but then you give up convenience. It all depends on your purpose. If your purpose here is to work, and like I do, you know, you want an office space or something, you need to be downtown. If your purpose is to party, you want to be in Makati, you'll need to be downtown. If you're here and you want to make a longer go of it, and you don't mind, you know, if you do have to work commuting a little bit, if you go out to Quezon City, you know, take it, 20 minutes a day and commute, or maybe 30, yeah, it can be seriously cheaper. I can't speak to that because I always kind of live in the city, but there are other options. This would not be big enough for a family. All right, even for me, if I lived here for like more than 3 months, I could do it, but you know, I'll be looking for about 50 square meters is about the magic point where you feel pretty comfortable all the time. Okay, bonus point. Point number 6 is the facilities. So I discovered this pool like a couple days ago, and it was beautiful sunny weather. Unfortunately, it's kind of looking not good, which sucks because I'm flying down to Dumaguete for my birthday trip in like 4 hours or 3 hours. So in a lot of these condos, they restrict use of things like the pool and the gym only to people who are living here long term. In this condo, apparently the rule is you have to be here for 1 month. The condo I stayed at, the Viceroy Towers last year in McKinley, anyone could use it. Gramercy, I was able to use it, but I was also staying there for 3 months. So it's worth checking on this because most agents will not tell you straight up. Especially like Airbnb types. So it's worth checking on this kind of stuff because agents often won't tell you. Like the one I used at Jazz, she just would not really come clean on whether I could use it or not. All right, here in this condo, we even got a little shared area, which is kind of nice. They got a coffee shop here. We got like another pool here. This is part of the Pebbles. The only problem with this pool, if you're a fat guy like me, is basically everyone on the treadmills is looking down judgmentally at your pasty fat body, but it's not bad, right? So that's the pool. Let me show you the gym. And most of these condos have a gym, and this one is no exception. The gym here is huge. This is the largest gym in a condo I've like ever seen in the Philippines. And I've stayed in like, I don't know, 6 or 7 condos. The only downside is that again, you are not allowed to use this for most guests unless you are 1 month or more. but it's a kick-ass facility. This is at the Acqua Condo here. Okay, so that was 5 or 6 things to watch out for when you're renting a condo in Manila, in the Philippines in general. One thing I did kind of forget to mention, and it's kind of particular to the Philippines. If you look on like Facebook pages and stuff where people are advertising condos, they won't put the prices up there. Even on property listings, they will not put prices. What they do is they'll say, DM me for details. And then they'll look at your profile and say, oh, a foreigner, we can charge them way more than a local Filipino. The way I get around this is I hire a virtual assistant. So you can go online and just type in Filipino VA. And there are sites that specifically work with VAs, or you could just like go to online groups like Facebook groups and stuff. My VA, her name is Rona. I call her my fixer. And the one thing that Rona does is she first will find a place in an area that I'm looking to stay in. And then I send her to I'll hire her for a couple hours to actually go and look at the place. And the reason I do that is because, one, she will tell me, no, this place is too small, or there's no privacy, there's whatever. She will look at the place. And just as importantly, she will go to the juristic office and she will ask them, can you confirm that this number and this person actually has the right to rent this condo? Because there's a big problem in the Philippines with scammers, basically, with people who say that they are representing a condo as an agent and you just need a down payment to get this great deal. And then people will send a fairly small down payment. And then if they do go to the condo, if they finish things off, there's no condo there, right? Or they'll rent to multiple people. She looks into the background a little bit of the person I'm renting from. And she also will look at, is the contract that I'm being given fairly legit? In general, if you're renting, you should be looking at maybe they'll probably want a month in advance and a month down before you get here. It's not unusual, but get a VA, okay, to check this stuff out. Especially, that the condo has the things that you think are really important. And that's the end of this video. What's important to you renting a condo? If you have any comments, if you have any experience with this in Manila, please share. Go ahead, write it in the comments, and I'll see if I can address it later. On that note, everyone, from me, Mike, Coding Travelbug, happy travels, and I'll be heading back to Thailand pretty soon, so who knows what's next. All right, take care. Bye-bye.